Welcome back to the Chase Down. Make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button and comment down below. Thunder beat the Blazers 131 to 120 in the final scrimmage before the NBA season officially starts, before these 8 seeding games. Andre Robertson got the start in this game with no CP3, and then Shea kind of slid to the point. Also, Terrence Ferguson was out with the leg contusion, but Billy Donovan said it wasn't very serious. And then Nerlens Noel is out because he forgot to take his test before the scrimmage. And the Portland Trail Blazers were also without Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Thunder starters still seem to struggle a little bit out of the gate in this one, but didn't get a whole lot of foul calls right there at the beginning, and then Billy kind of complained to the ref, called a timeout, and then Thunder got back on track a little bit. Got a lot of calls throughout the rest of the game. They had way more free throws than the Trailblazers did. And the starters, even though the starters kind of struggled out of the gate, hopefully that means they weren't really going 100%. Didn't really look like they were, and especially since CP3 rested after he didn't really play a whole bunch. Those other scrimmages didn't seem like the Thunder starters were going all out, except for like Shea and Dort and Dre. 4 of those first 5 possessions were turnovers, and then the other possession was like a missed shot by Gallo. Gallo was just trying to go in and get some foul calls, and he didn't really get them, so it just kind of looked like he was forcing layups. The Thunder defense was pretty good, but I mean, the Trailblazers were just knocking down shots. Anthony Simons was just knocking down shots this game. And then the Trailblazers just kind of continued to make shots. Weren't as hot as they were at the beginning of the game throughout the rest, but Thunder just kind of got a little bit of separation after Billy calls a timeout. The Thunder offense gets rolling, and then Thunder started getting to the free throw line, and that's where they pulled apart because the Blazers just weren't getting a whole lot of calls, and then they weren't really just drawing any fouls, and Thunder kind of pulled away. And then Thunder went on a 9-2 run to end that first quarter. Thunder finally had a good transition game. They had 13 fast break points, and the Thunder have been dead last in fast break points all season at like 9 fast break points a game. And then they shot 50% from 3. And then at half, Thunder had 28 points in the paint, and Trailblazers had 14. And then Thunder had 30 bench points. And then after that, Dre and Dort were the only players that played the second half. Got to see Dre play against some starters. He guarded Melo and contested a lot of shots. Hit a 3 in that second half, kind of from the top of the key. Again, his shot just seems to be smoother. Doesn't really hesitate as much. He doesn't have just like a little hitch in his form. It's not slow like it was before. So again, we got to see Dre go up against some starters. Got to see him go up against better players. Once again, just Billy kind of the first game, let him in there, get some minutes, get those nerves out. Second game, play against a little bit better players, play a little bit more minutes. Third game, no CP3, put Robertson in that starting spot, and let him guard Melo and some of those other guys, and just let him get that rest out, and then he can finally hopefully get back into playing shape, and then he'll be there for the Thunder in the playoffs. And Dre can definitely be a solid option on the wing, just off the bench for the Thunder, and he can play some minutes at the 4 if he needs to, and he can be a starter for the Thunder if the Thunder have an injury, or if we're in a good enough situation for Chris Paul or Gallo or somebody to rest. And then, we have that guy in Dre to step up, and he's just really been there, and kind of seems like Terrence Ferguson's minutes are going away. But if Abdel Nader's playing well, and Hamidou Diallo's playing well, and Dre's playing well, and all these guys that are playing well, Dort, and just everybody, kind of seems like Terrence Ferguson's minutes are just gone. The rest of those young guys they really showed out in this game. This game was just the young guys showed out. Shea only played that first half. He had 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. He was 2 for 2 from 3, so finally got that shot to fall a little bit. In that last game, he showed off his distributing skills, so Shea looks ready to go. He can turn it on. Once these seeding games start, he can go 100%, and we can get to see what Shea has left for this remainder of the season and what he's done in this few months off that the NBA has had. And if he can distribute the ball well, be a ball handler, be a scorer, and then still mesh with those starters that we have, and mesh with this group that we have, and Thunder might be able to make some noise in the playoffs. Darius Bazley had an awesome game. Ended with 20 points. He was 3 for 5 from 3. He was finally, I was waiting for it, he was finally aggressive in that first half. He had 8 points in that first quarter, just comes in, just hot out the gate, knocks down 2 threes. Bazley was just on this game. He really shot that 3 in the first half, and then in that second half, he kind of passed up on a couple threes. He really looked to get inside, and which probably either is Darius Bazley trying to get better, or just a challenge from Billy Donovan, or the combination of both. Because Billy's a good coach for player development. I think that just stems from him being a college coach, and he's going to be a really good coach for Darius Bazley. Hamidou Diallo, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block, 3 steals, 7 for 9, and he even hit a corner 3. He did force a couple of layups, but a lot less than he usually does. He seemed to be just a tiny bit more craftier than he usually is, getting to the rim instead of just bulldozing his way through. He was just more patient on offense. He waited a couple times and then used his speed to get around guys like Hassan Whiteside and things like that. Lou Dort has been amazing in these scrimmages. He had 13 points, 3 for 5 from 3. He's hit a 3 in the first quarter of all 3 scrimmages, and he's kind of shown that he can be another ball handler for this Thunder team, and there's really a bright future for this team to go along with Shea and then potentially Darius Bazley. Just a real good hit on this last offseason for the Thunder, drafting Darius Bazley. Thunder looking out, and they get Lou Dort undrafted, sign him to a 2-way contract, and then get him to a pretty good first NBA contract that really favors the Thunder, because honestly, Dort could have got a better contract because he's really shown he can play. And this game we got to see a little bit better game out of Dennis Schroeder. He probably tried the hardest out of these vets that have played, maybe besides Mike Muscala. Dennis had 14 points, and Mike Muscala has been awesome so far in these scrimmages. Hopefully it's not just a fluke from these scrimmages, because man, his shot has been falling. He's knocking down those wide open shots. He hit a mid-range shot. He's hitting those shots even with guys closing out on him. He's spacing the floor and really filled in pretty well in these 2 scrimmages without Nerlens Noel. He's not the defender that Nerlens Noel is, but he makes up for it on offense, especially when Thunder attacks the basket and has wide open shots for Muscala out there in the 3. Also, Deontay Burton. I haven't really said anything about this so far, but Deontay Burton not getting a whole lot of minutes, but when I watch him play, he's shooting threes, not really attacking the basket like he was. But his shot form has changed, I think, in these last few months. It's not before he was kind of just putting that shot up there. He was just like bringing it back and then chunking it at the rim. And now he has like an actual shot. I'm not sure what that means for him and the future of the Thunder or even the Oklahoma City Blue. But I thought it was just a cool thing to point out. He actually looks like he has an actual shot. And we know he's athletic. We know he can get to the rim. We've seen him do things in Summer League and G League. Just really, his opportunity in this rotation is probably already gone. So, what I get from this game and these scrimmages and hopefully the rest of the season, these 8 seeding games in the playoffs, is the Thunder's future does look bright. But the big question is here, who is part of the Thunder in this young core that we have of Gilgeous-Alexander, who is absolutely 100% the star of the future and is the just the head of the future for this Thunder team, and he will be a part of this Thunder team, barring just any kind of crazy thing happening, obviously. And then you have Lou Dort and you have Darius Bazley, and we've seen these guys shine in just random spots, and we've seen how Darius Bazley's improved, and even it is just scrimmages, but we've seen Darius Bazley, how he's improved in these few months off that the NBA's had. We've seen Shea get a little bit better, just turn his game on just another notch. Took a leap from last year to this year, and then all of a sudden in January, these 26 games that we've had with Lou Dort, this undrafted guy, signed to a two-way contract, earns himself a regular contract. He's a beast on defense. Seems like he's getting better every game. On offense, he's getting to the basket. His ball handling is better. He's knocking down threes, which is something he's proven the haters wrong really with that one. So right now it's looking like those three guys are the future of the Thunder, and hopefully those guys can all be together for the future of the Thunder, and then maybe you can add a guy like Mamadou Diallo and just anybody. And then Thunder have all these picks and trade value, and so that's a big thing here. So let me know down in the comments, who do you think is a part of the future for the Thunder? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.